Coleman would be the first, and Coleman would be the last.
Okay.
Walking in, I was unsure of what to expect. A short thing about me is that I'm from rural Alabama, born and raised 18 years in an environment that was heavily hostile towards the LGBT community. And ever since I began embracing my own identity, I never quite felt welcome in a church or heavily religious environment. Yet here I felt the energy of the LGBT community, our representatives for Monterey County, and I felt perhaps the strongest and most reaffirming experience I've had in a church and ever since I've truly embraced who I am. And for that, and coming out afterwards, like I said, I feel reaffirmed. I feel so much faith in our religious community and in the community at large here in Monterey County that I chose the right place to come as a young gay man to find comfort and to find confidence in who I am and to live who I am as authentically as I can.
And can you talk about the impact of a Vigil, an event like this, after that it has on the LGBTQ community after such a tragedy?
It's such an important thing to come together after such a collective trauma, and when it's a repeated incident after you have the Pulse nightclub and then you have Club Q, when you notice these things, when society tries to come together and to work past these things through activism and through collective consciousness, it almost feels like a backslide, and it's very important for the community to have a resource to come together, to be here for one another, to have a place to channel our grief, because it's a tough time, and it's evidence that although there is work to be done about these issues, about violence, about hate crimes, and all other issues which affect our community and other marginalized communities, it's an important thing to have these vigils and to come together, not only to send our support to the victims, but also to find comfort for ourselves, because that's an important thing. In order to work together and to work past these things and to become stronger, it takes all of us coming together for one another and having each other's backs, and that's a very important thing.
And I think that kind of answers my next question, is can you tell people why it is so important to have people that are outside the LGBTQ community come and support, because for minorities, whether it's black people, brown people, the things that we deal with, it's important to have the support of others outside to have progress.
Absolutely. You hit it right on the nail there. It is so important for us all to have reassurance, and the value that comes from people outside of our community supporting us. It really shows us that we are not alone in our struggle, and though others may not share in our particular things that make us different, it teaches us to embrace all of our differences in whatever ways they may come about. And having the support of others who may not be specifically a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, it really reinforces that we are not alone, not just us LGBTQ brothers and sisters, but everybody who feels the intolerance of hatred, everybody who shares these values, because it's such a multifaceted issue in this world that transcends LGBTQ identity, being a part of any marginalized group. And so it's really important that all voices who are repulsed by these actions and all voices who wish to be there for others during a time of collective grief. I call to mind the BLM movement, when people who were not a part of the African American community or other communities predominantly marginalized by the police, that didn't stop all of the world from coming together to show our collective outcry against these injustices. And just as the community comes together to prevent Asian and Pacific Islander hate, and as we come together to spread our voice towards these injustices, it's important that just as we are there for other communities, that they have our backs during these times, because progress is only ever going to come from marginalized people standing up for other marginalized people.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Father John Perez. I'm the Episcopal priest here at Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church, and we'd like to welcome you to this vigil. We'd like to first welcome you into what I call sacred, holy, and sanctuary. Sacred because the community that we're in is once the land, still in the traditional land, a holy land for the Esalen, the Ohlone, and the Costanoan Indians. It's also holy because it is the worship space for this community as Lutherans and Episcopalians. It is also sanctuary because this is where you, the community, have often gathered. It's our space to be shared with you, keeping alive the tradition of that this land, this space, this place is always a place of gathering for community. Tonight's event of a vigil we'll have a few little bumps as much as Tyler and I have tried to quickly put this together and planned it. So please forgive us for any kind of hiccups that we might have this evening. But the most important part of all this is that we are here together and that you showed up and that we can speak as one voice. And I want to salute the community, both the Monterey Peninsula Pride, Steelers Valley Pride, the Epicenter, for all coming together and helping put this together, working together as a community. As most of you know, sometimes here in Monterey County as an LGBTQ community, we all have different priorities, different goals, different challenges, and they don't always align. But sadly, tonight aligns. Tonight, we are one family, one community. And to gather us together as community, I'd like to welcome Bishop Lucinda Ashby, the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of El Camino Real, to bring us together as community in prayer.
Loving God, we gather this evening with broken hearts to honor those who lost their lives in the Colorado shooting and mourn with those who grieve. We lift prayers to you, asking for guidance and strength. We ask that you look with compassion on the whole human family. Take away the arrogance and hatred which infect our hearts. Break down the walls that separate us. Unite us in bonds of love. And work through our struggle and our confusion so that we may live in this world as you would have us to live. Amen.
I'm going to read the names of the young people that lost their lives. Kelly Loving, Daniel Aston, Derek Graham, Ashley Paul, and Ramon Green Vance.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tyler Williamson, and mayor-elect in the city of Monterey. And I'm honored to be here with you all today under these unfortunate circumstances. But it fills my heart to see so many people in the community coming together, some familiar faces and some new. There are those that want to take away our voice. And this is a perfect example of the challenges that the LGBTQ plus community faces, and there are people hurting out there. And some may not want to fully appreciate or understand that, but that's exactly why we're here tonight, to unite our voices and stand against this horrible crime that's been committed. We send our love and our deep, heartfelt appreciation for all of those that are coming together from not just within our community, but all around the United States, to stand together and united against hate crimes in general, and violence. And we're going to stand together because it's not going to be something that we accept within our communities. So I would just ask that as we leave here today, that we just check in with somebody else in the space and make sure that they feel like they have somebody that they can reach out to and talk to, or maybe they just need a moment to reflect on whatever's on their hearts and minds. And so we'll provide some opportunities for folks to share some feelings, but I'm going to delay my comments for now beyond what I shared and call up a few speakers. And so I see some electeds in the room, and I want to start with Police Chief Tinianto, if you'd like to come up and share a few words.
Good evening, everybody, and to the Monterey County family. Thank you for coming out this evening. I'm Tina Nieto. I'm the Marina Police Chief, but I'm also your Sheriff-elect for Monterey County, and I'm a member of the LGBTQ plus community. I just want to say, on behalf of law enforcement and the law enforcement family, this has hit us hard like everybody. Every time there's a senseless crime where people are murdered based on hate, it hurts everybody. It hurts our community, and so like Mayor-elect Tyler Williamson stated, please make sure that you reach out to each other, to talk about your grief. That's why we come together as a community, because we share our joy as communities, but we also share our grief and our tragedy with each other. That's what makes us human, that's what gives us compassion, and it's really the right thing to do. So to the families of the 5 victims and the 17 also that are wounded in the hospital from the act of the senseless act, this crime by somebody who obviously had a heart filled with hate, and we are probably going to find out that there was also mental illness involved. Just remember these things as our legislators go forth. Red flag laws work. We have to have sense to some of this gun violence. I think we're up to 604 gun violent incidents just in 2022. Think about that, 604 incidents of gun violence where people have been killed. Not to talk about the mass shootings. It's not right in our communities where acts of mass shootings are just the norm. That should not be the norm. And so I think it's because of people like you here in this room tonight and our community as we move forward and we work together and our voices are heard together, that we can combat the hate that exists in our society. So with that, thank you, Tyler, for the words, and Father John, and to your congregation, thank you for bringing us together this evening.
I see you, Supervisor Chris Lopez. Did you want to come up and share?
Had a long day at work today with Priscilla, who's here with me tonight, my chief. We were both getting in our cars this evening, and we just received an email from county staff letting us know that this gathering was happening and how important it was to them that somebody show up for them. And we're talking about an employee resource group who felt attacked so many times. And tonight, they called out this space as a space of healing for them. So I'm here tonight in solidarity with them to support them and uphold community. I grew up in the Lutheran church, so when I saw that in the title, it felt like, all right, something's calling my heart, and I told Priscilla, I'm going to go. And I hit the road, and she said, you know what, I'm right behind you. So we came out here tonight. I know it's not my district, but Monterey County belongs to all of us. This country belongs to all of us. And we're here together, sharing our pain and the hurt that we feel, knowing that for 5 people, it's too late, but for somebody out there, it's not. And we have to do something about it. And it starts by holding each and every one in our community up and making them feel seen, heard, and understood. On both sides, hatred comes from a place too. When we call hatred out by addressing it face to face. And that takes all of us, every single person in this room. So I'm just here tonight to share space with you all, to add my voice to a growing chorus, but more than anything, to be in this room with each one of you and share the pain, because I feel it in my heart. And I'm just grateful to this community and Marina for opening the doors in creating the space, which just by that little act has meant a lot to many people in our community. And so thank you for being here and joining in the space. And thank you, Tyler, for your work to make this happen.
Salina City Councilmember Anthony Rocha.
My name is Anthony Rocha. I'm a member of the Salina City Council, and I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community. Today we gather because we know our strength is derived from a place of unity. And when we come together, we are stronger. We mourn the loss of people who just got up and wanted to have a good time, but were targeted. Beautiful souls were taken from us, and we have so much to give. There is a concerted effort to take away our spirit, to make us feel like if we're not valid, like if we don't belong, like if we should not be who we are. But I'm here to tell you that we as a community are resilient. We know that. We're going to mourn, we're going to love each other, and we're going to come back even stronger. And we talk a lot about safe spaces, but we are all committed here today to making sure that every single space is safe. Every single space will be safe. We are committed to that. We are committed to creating a future where no one has to fear for what happened at Pulse, what happened at Club Q, and where no one has to fear for their safety simply because of the person they choose to love. And we owe it to those of our LGBTQ siblings that were taken from us at Pulse, those LGBTQ siblings that were taken from us at Club Q, the many trans community members that are always the target of this vitriol. We owe it to all of them to keep this fight going. We owe it to future generations to keep this fight going. And today the community, the LGBTQ community, stands united in Monterey County. We will create a better future, a safer future for all of us. You all are my family. We love each other here, and let's keep the fight going. Too many people depend on us.
Seaside Councilmember Alexis Garcia, Arizona.
Tonight, we are mourning a senseless act that time after time continues to plague the United States of America. And one thing we can all feel right now is sadness, anger, a mixture of emotions. But as a member of the LGBTQ community in the city of Seaside, I too feel that. But I also fear for many who aren't here today, continuing to be in hiding because of what's going on. And I know I was a victim of that, afraid to come out, afraid to be seen, accepted. But this county, this community, has welcomed me and everyone else with open arms. That's the exact same thing we're supposed to continue doing, because Monterey County is a loving county, a county that will fight for each individual life, that will fight for each individual person, and make sure that everyone is welcome. And although we are all at loss for words, one thing we do know is that we carry much more strength than what goes on. And the acts that happened in Colorado Springs fall on the heels of divisiveness that this country has been facing for the past several decades, years, centuries. But we all have an opportunity to be here today and say, that's not us. We're going to move forward. We're resilient. We are fighters. And everyone has a voice. And today, we will honor each individual life that was lost in Colorado Springs, each life that was hurt, and those family members as well. I can only imagine what they're going through. But we are here today uplifting them every step of the way, making sure this never happens in our communities, and being better. Although I'm from Seaside, I consider everybody here an ally. And it's up to us as elected officials to uplift everybody, to speak up against injustices, to ensure that everyone has a voice and not be afraid to speak what's right. Our constituents depend on us. And I want everybody to know that as elected officials, we are here today to support, to uplift those voices, and to ensure that no one is left behind. So as you look around this room and the elected officials that are here and those who can't make it, we're here for you. We stand with you, and I not only stand as an elected official, but I stand here as a brother. Because I know that everybody is going through pain right now. But right now we need each other more than anything. Because what's stronger than divisiveness is unity. And tonight, it showed up. Thank you.
NPC Board of Trustee Mary Anderson.
I'm here specifically this evening as a sister and an auntie that's an ally. My sister's hurting my 7-year-old nephew who came home a couple weeks ago and told us that he was gay and lives in a family where he can do that. That's what I want for every child. And I want them to be able, I want you to be able to go into public spaces and feel safe. And as a board member at NPC, it's my responsibility to make sure that that college is a safe space, that we're providing the education to help inform people so that these acts don't happen again. And as Alexis said, as an elected official, I'm committed to fighting for the LGBTQ plus community. And I stand with you in sadness, but also with strength. We will move forward together. Thank you.
Awakening to the shooting, the news of the shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs was painful. It was scary. Like probably many here yesterday, I checked to be sure that my young friend Sarah, who was a member of the LGBTQ and lives in Colorado Springs, had not been at Club Q that evening, and thankfully she was not. Yet after the relief of that particular moment, I was overwhelmed by the tragedy. People had gone to the club to talk, they had gone there to laugh, to drink, to dance. They went to have fun, they went to enjoy life. And they came face to face with tragedy and death. Part of the horror of this shooting is that it is no longer as shocking as it should be. This is not the first time. And these shootings have become a pattern, almost expected and frighteningly normative in our country. People in this room continue to stand and to speak and to advocate against gun violence and verbal violence directed toward many groups that are marginalized in our country and all over the world. We all ask, how long? How long will we need to be vigilant for ourselves and our friends? How long will we need to call out those who spew hatred and those who act on it? How long will we need to be brave? As a religious person, people always ask me where God is in tragedy. God is in all of it, but most especially in your heartbreak and in the depth of your grief and the poignancy of your yearnings for things to be different. God is also in your steps forward when courage propels you beyond the limitations of fear. God is with you every day. When you stand bravely and where you step and when you dance. LGBTQ peoples and we who are allies cannot hide away in fear. We cannot refuse to see what is happening. We should never stand still and forget how to dance. We will not stop meeting. We will not stop greeting each other. For now we mourn and we honor those who fell. Daniel, Kelly, Eric, Ashley, and Raymond. And we honor those who witnessed their fall. And we need to mourn for the innocence that is lost as well at Club Q. Losses that will permeate our culture and our society through the next generation. In our grief, we will continue to stand for, and we will proclaim that the world can be a place where all of creation is beloved and no one is left out or taken out because of who they are and who they love. How long? How long, we ask, how long do we need to do this? As long as it takes, right? We who are gathered here tonight form the nucleus of strength and the voices from which the message of acceptance and inclusion and love will be carried in this community. May we all have the wisdom to pursue the calling and the courage to perform it for as long as it takes.
James Schreiner is from the Marina Coast Water District Board.
Good evening and welcome to Marina. I have to say thank you to Father John for opening the house here and all the people who have supported the gathering. We do vigils. I feel sometimes a little too often. It wasn't so very long ago that I actually made a trip to Seaside for a similar kind of event for the Charleston 9. And I feel like this echoes for me. It was not a club. It was people coming together to worship God and do the things that people need to do. And at that event, we took a pledge to always speak up for fairness, always speak up for justice. Anytime that we hear someone make a joke or a slight, to speak up. And I work with kids. I tell them pretty often, you get through a hard time by watching each other's backs and by taking turns being strong and pulling together. So I hope you would just take a moment with me right now to turn to the person and the people around you and say, I got you. Give them a knuckle bump or a hug.
Next, I'm going to call up my good friend Sam Gomez from the Epicenter.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam Gomez. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I work with the Epicenter, a drop-in resource center for youth in Monterey County. These past few days, I have been feeling so many emotions, including anger, devastation, and grief for the victims of Club Q. My heart is heavy, and it aches for all of our queer and trans siblings who have been taken too soon due to anti-LGBTQ violence and hatred. They did not deserve to die. We do not deserve to fear for our lives just for existing. We shouldn't have to fear going to places that are created for our safety and community and places that bring us joy. Our lives are sacred and so precious. We deserve joy and to be authentically ourselves. There needs to be changes on all levels, starting with all of us in our community and inner circles. We need to challenge hateful rhetoric that diminishes our very lives. This holiday season, I hope allies, accomplices can show up and start challenging hateful speech in all of the spaces that we occupy, including at family gatherings, at schools, the workplace, everywhere. We can channel this anger and frustration into action. Let us show up for our loved ones who need us now more than ever. Let us check in with our queer and trans young people, our elders, donate to LGBTQ charities and funds and local organizations that help provide support to our queer and trans community. On behalf of the Epicenter, we would like to express our love and support to our beautiful queer and trans community in Monterey County and all over the world. We open our doors to all who need support and community and stand against all forms of injustices and hatred. I am grateful for spaces where we can hold one another and be together in community towards healing. A huge thank you to the Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church for hosting this space and for the agencies who supported this vigil, including Salinas Valley Pride and Monterey Peninsula Pride. I did find online a little bit about the victims of the shooting, so I did want to read just a little bit about them to honor their memory. Daniel Davis Aston, who was 28 years old. Daniel was a bartender at Club Q, an outspoken trans man. He continuously helped raise donations for Black trans people on his Instagram. He was the light in every room, according to his close friend. Raymond Green. Raymond was celebrating his friend's birthday when the shots broke out. His friend Rich apprehended the shooter as he died. After his death, his girlfriend posted on Facebook, "You are my home, my heart, my everything. You changed my life. You made my life worth living." Kelly Loving, 40 years old. After moving from Florida, Kelly was new to the Colorado scene. A nurturing soul, she was like a trans mother to her friends. She was loving, always trying to help the next person out instead of thinking of herself. She was just a caring person, her sister told the New York Times. Ashley Powell, 35 years old. Ashley and her friends decided to go to Club Q after spending time shopping and getting dinner together. She was a family woman and lived for her daughter, according to her sister. She is survived by her husband and 11-year-old child. And finally, Derek Rump, 38 years old. Always bubbly and joking, Derek had no shortage of friends in the community. He was a part owner of Club Q. He was a kind, loving person who had a heart of gold, his mother told reporters. He was always there for my daughter and myself when we needed him, also his friends from Colorado, which he would say was his family also. He was living his dream, and he would have wanted everyone to do the same. If we could take a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Okay, next I want to call up my fellow co-chair with Monterey Peninsula Pride, Melanie Santos.
Thank you all for being here. Yesterday was Trans Remembrance Day as well. And I had a very difficult time just processing through the day yesterday. I was tired, I was lethargic, I was frustrated. But then Tyler called and he reminded me that it's our privilege to serve this community. It's you all who made us realize that we needed to get up and serve. We got messages, we got calls asking, what are you going to do? And so we joined together with Salinas Valley Pride with Epicenter. Epiphany opened their doors to us, and we're here together to be community. So, thank you.
Okay, and then next I want to call up Quasar, or some of you may know them as Stephen Goings.
Hello, everyone. I'm sad. I'm very angry. And before I can go to a beautiful place, I just have to acknowledge my anger. You know, so this shooting was a shooting. It was an incident. It was terrible for those folk. But I am thinking about all of the anti-LGBT legislation that is going on around the country, and all these other places in which we say, and in which we acknowledge that the type of energy that we put out into the world, if it's negative energy, it poisons the world. I'm also thinking within the Black community, we will sometimes remind each other that it's not really, racism isn't really the Black community's problem to solve. And I think that this is true for homophobia and transphobia as well. I am sure that there are straight and cisgender allies with us today. And I want to remind you that we really count on you. We are a minority in every sense of the word, LGBT folk. And so we're really counting on you to change the culture, to change straight and cisgender culture, to include us. And the reason why I'm up here is I actually wrote a prayer for a much happier occasion that I think fits here. And I wrote it for the Unitarian Universalist Church was going to do a sermon on queer spirit. And that also reminds me, I want to say something about that this happened in a nightclub, and I want people to really know this, that for the LGBT community, the nightclub is our cathedral. Because we are a community that had been kicked out of every public space there was. So the only place that we could occupy for generations were the clubs. So it is a bit of a cathedral for us. I'm going to change one word in this. It's blessed, and recognizing that there are probably plenty of people of many faiths here and people of no faiths. I'm going to change it to what on my heart today. I'm going to change the word blessed to beloved. Mother, Father, Androgyne, God, Goddess, all that is, thank you for the queer spirit you have shared with the rainbow children of the world. Beloved is the journey of discovery of our authentic selves, often painful too. Beloved are the effeminate boys and masculine women who dare drink from the gendered cup reserved for the opposite sex. Blessed are the queer, non-binary, and androgynous who fashion their own cups and drink from them freely. Blessed are queer adolescents discovering the pleasures of their own youthful flesh. Blessed are the celibates and the asexuals who channel their erotic energies elsewhere. Blessed and beloved are the polyamorous whose love cannot be contained in a single vessel. Blessed are the trans folk of every kind and degree, whose knowledge of who they truly are holds infinite power. Beloved are the cis, monogamous, and straight allies, who celebrate the kaleidoscopic flamboyance of their rainbow kin. Mother, Father, Androgyne, God, Goddess, all that is, thank you for the queer spirit of the rainbow children of the world. Thank you.
The last person I'd like to call up is Pastor Angelo Rivera.
I'm Angelo Rivero, and I serve as the pastor of the Marina United Methodist Church. And I'm just so grateful for Epiphany Church and for Father John for opening this space for our LGBT community here in Monterey County, but for all the communities across the Marina and Seaside and beyond. I know that his work here and the work of Epiphany is a witness of what faith community can be, a welcoming and inclusive space for all people. And I know that unfortunately that's not the case for so many religious communities, and so we're very grateful for a place like Epiphany. Yesterday when I read the headlines like many of you, I was very much shaken inside getting ready for leading Sunday worship, and I thought about my own experience of the first time I went to a gay club I went to a very conservative university and had ventured out to go to my first club, and just thinking of the safety I had experienced there, being able to be myself in a new way. And as Quasar said, really, these gay spaces are sanctuaries and cathedrals, when so many other places that ought to be those places aren't. So again, I'm just so grateful for Epiphany and for Father John. Again, like others had mentioned, I pray that this is an opportunity for us to come together as a community, as allies, and as queer and trans people, so that we might bear witness to what community can be. A place where people can live in freedom, in sanctuary, in love, without fear. The thinking and trying to find what, I saw a lot of things on social media, people posting, and I was reminded of that song by Holly Near, Singing for Our Lives. And I thought the first verse was just so fitting for how I feel. We are a gentle, angry people. And I think that that's what we need to hold together. Being gentle people and angry people, so that we can be gentle to those who need it and angry to the injustice and cruelty and hate that we come across, so that we might be able to, in one voice, sing in one harmony. So thank you so much again for being here and remembering each other, remembering our community and Colorado Springs, holding us in our hearts so that we might be able to continue building that beloved community. Thank you.
I come from a really tough place right now. As some of you know, I just came back from Spain and stood at the place where some of my relatives were executed. And not for their political viewpoints, but because they knew people who had political viewpoints. And so it is really important to me that you have spoken out tonight. And those of you who are elected leaders, and those of you in the community, we need your voices. And I know that people get nervous applauding in church. Because that's been my experience as a priest. And I know that I gave that awkward applause to Tina, but I can do that because she's my cousin. And so,
That's actually true.
we'll look at the beginning. But I would like, if you could, lift up our speakers and give them a thank you by a round of applause. There is something I request or ask of you, is that you've heard several of us of clergy, and soon you'll be hearing from another church as well, that you be a voice for us. And you may not be churchy people, you may not even identify as Christians, but there's something that you can do for some of us. And that is when you hear people say, Christians do not believe in the LGBTQ community. When we hear them make theological statements that leave us out. When they draw that circle that leaves us out. That you be a voice and say, not so quick, not so fast, not so true. Do it as boldly as Tina has just denied being my cousin. Because we need your voice. Because if we don't speak out, they control the conversation. They control us on that. So we need your voice. And to all your friends that joined you in going to a drag show or joined you in going to a pride event, all your straight friends who came to a parade or went to a bar, invite them not just to show up at the good times, but we need them here with us during the hard times. We need our allies. We need to show them the numbers. We need to show them that we have a community that is so wide and large that they can't imagine just how big the community can be. We need their advocacy. And so I invite you to tell them where you were tonight and to ask them where they were. I would like to invite Axel and Elaine Gearman from the Unitarian Church. And I also invite you to add any comments if you'd like. Please, Axel.
Father John had asked us to prepare a litany prayer. So, God of many names, Spirit of life and love, we are here, called from many places and identities, to share our grief and our mourning, to lean on each other, to comfort one another, to offer strength and love to friends and those beloveds not yet known to us. We are here.
We are here, pausing from our busy lives to honor the memories of those whose precious lives were tragically and senselessly taken, who were victims of hatred, bigotry, and ignorance. We are here.
We are here to say, we will not stop. We will not stop gathering. We will not stop marching. We will not stop protesting. Not until everyone is seen, is heard, is valued, is respected, is protected, is loved in all their beauty and wholeness, in all their brokenness and woundedness, in all their healing and resilience. And we will not stop dancing. We will not stop living. We will not stop loving. We are here.
We are here to offer our companionship, our support, our resources, our connections, our depth, our compassion, our sympathy, our remembrance, and most of all, our love. Love is love, is love. Love always wins. We are here together in love.
Let us continue together in love.
Bishop Lucid will be giving us a blessing, and then invite Michael Blackburn to play Amazing Grace after the blessing. After that, Tyler and I and Arlington are going to head out to the Peace Plaza, and there is a rainbow flag there. And we invite you to write and send your thoughts, condolences, prayers to those in Colorado Springs. The rainbow flag there will be sent to them so that they can know that the support that they have from places like Monterey County, that we are here for them and thinking about them.
Beloved, life is short, and we have so little time to gladden the hearts of those who traveled away with us. So be swift to love, and make haste to be kind. And may the one who creates, redeems, and sustains us be with you now and forevermore. Amen.
After this vigil tonight, how are you feeling about it? How were you feeling during it and while everyone was speaking?
Well, it was really beautiful being able to see the community kind of just come together, both allies and we just need to have more time for voices to be heard. So this being out there, the community, the very different religious parties coming together to discuss and be one and realize that this isn't just a shooting, this is a shooting that's attacking a minority. Like Stephen Williams said, it is attacking a minority. It is putting pressure on someone's livelihood and someone's ability to love and be loved. It's attacking someone's cathedral, someone's home. So being able to be here and hear people speak and hear the support that LGBTQ community has is really overwhelming of the strength that we also have to be able to talk about it.
And what's one message you're taking away from all this tonight, and what's a message you hope other people are taking away tonight?
I would say that having your voice, having your words, having those that you know who are in the community, but also a strong message from tonight was using your voice, especially if you are an ally, if you're an ally like your friends are, or if you're part of the community, using your voice to step out and be comfortable with being uncomfortable situations, to talk about it, to talk about the community, to talk about being part of something that doesn't, it's not politicized, it's ourselves. Using your voice is the biggest message, and using your voice in every platform that you're in.
Right, and then what is, can you talk about the support you hope that this vigil tonight is bringing and is going to bring to the LGBTQ plus community?
I hope that moving forward that incoming students, because students are able to find communities and the voices that they have heard tonight and the speakers that are there, the elected officials. I know the Monterey elected mayor is LGBT, and so are many others in this community, and so it's really important that people who are stepping into Seaside, Monterey, the whole peninsula are able to find comfort in the people who are leading it, and also just everyday hope they come in contact with.
Stephen Goings, but I also go by Quasar. I'm a counselor faculty at CSU Monterey Bay.
How are you feeling after tonight's vigil, and how are you feeling during it?
Well, I'm feeling thankful that Father John and Tyler could put this on and that we could bring the community together. You know, I came in feeling very angry and very upset, and I still feel that way, but I feel the love of the community as well, and so that is a bond, and that's why I came, because I needed that healing.
And can you talk about the support and the impact that this will have on the LGBTQ community locally, but also for those outside of the LGBTQ, bringing everyone together?
Well, all I can really say is that 6 years ago when we had the Pulse Street Massacre, a number of us got together and started Monterey Peninsula Pride. And so I think when these types of tragedies happen, that they will certainly there are going to be not just this, but there will be other times for us to gather as a community and think about what type of good are we going to create out of this. Which is not to say that their sacrifice was for this, right? But because that happened, it just sheds light back on our community and how it is a community that needs support and needs healing and needs resources. And so I think that they'll just redouble our efforts. I would really like the LGBT community to deeply realize that they are loved, and that although there's hate in this world, there's always allies and always people who support us and love us, and to hold on to that and not let this poisonous, terrible stuff that happens into our lives. It demands a certain amount of attention when things like this crop up, but you really need to stay in recognizing that you are a divine human being like all the rest of us. I hope that everyone is walking away thinking what a beautiful community this is. What a beautiful, creative, flamboyant, and deeply spiritual and moral and fun community that this is. That we're everything that everyone else is. We're no less than anyone else.